Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for coming out and braving the, that's loud. Thanks for coming out and braving the cold weather today. It's really great to see everybody here. So I'm Ryan Keller. I'm the CEO here at Thrive, and I know most faces here in this room, but for those that you don't know me, I've been with Thrive now for about 5 years, and Thrive serves as our regional economic development district, area agency on aging, regional planning and transit organization, and our most recent addition is housing. We've been doing that now for, altogether with housing for about 2 years. So I have some really fun data I wanted to kind of kick off today's meeting and kind of show you. So talking in that 2-year frame, so back in the summer of 2022, fresh into COVID, everybody, the housing market going crazy and people fighting over houses selling within 17 minutes of putting them on the market. Maybe not that quick, but it felt like it at times when I was looking. But we did a housing study, and we got to the end of that housing study, and we rolled it out, and we were so proud of ourselves, and we got that housing study back, and we looked at it, and we're like, we have more questions than we have answers after we completed this study. What do we do next? And and at that time, John Ford here sitting in the audience right over there, all camoed up. You can't see him, but he's there. He was going around just trying to find ways to get out of work, and he went to a conference up in Indianapolis, and he discovered Heather. And Heather said, the great thing about studies is they really capture where you've been and maybe where you're at today, but they don't really tell you where you're going and where you need to go. And what you need to do is do a market potential analysis and really be front-facing and forward-facing and really look at that vision. What's the opportunity that you're missing out on just because you don't have the products and the services and the things set up that people are looking for? So they come to your community, they take one glance, and if you don't have what they're looking for, they're moving on and going to the next community or the next store is kind of how we always looked at it that way. So we launched our very first market potential analysis into right at the start of 23. And by August of 23, we rolled out our very first housing initiative, and that was called Homes for the Future, and that was through our Regional Development Authority, or RDA, the Wabash River RDA, and that was for $1.8 million, and that got us kind of kicked off and rolling. So here we are from 22 and the first program starting in August of 23 to December now of 24. And here's some of the stats. This is what we've done collectively in this room together by working on this. So in the city of Terre Haute, we've awarded and contracted to build 285 new housing units. With that, there was about a $1.5 million so far investment and of public dollars, and private sector investment is about $42 million. So we take that and we add that onto what we're doing in Greater Vigo County here. So added in here now with the city of Terre Haute and the rest of Vigo County, we're at 379 total housing units under contract. A little over about $3.5 million in public dollar investments, and we've leveraged now collectively little over $92 million in private sector investment. And once we get to that, then we go to the region. We kind of look at what we've been doing. Right now we have 2 regional communities, Clay County and Sullivan, who have been building a small number of homes through some of these funds, and we take that number now to 460 units with a private sector investment. I misspoke. Vigo County was $82 million. The regional investment now is pushing $95 million. So we collectively working together to reshape our housing market is having an impact. Those are huge numbers that only for a little over a year, not even a year and a half really, that we've been working together on this in the community, look what we've been able to achieve. I mean, that's impressive to me. And so this regional collaboration and this regional partnership that we're all forming in this housing industry is working. We're still gonna bump into each other, and we still got a lot of opportunity and a lot of road in front of us, but I'm super thrilled, and I just want to say thank you so much for everybody in this room of what you're doing to advance this housing initiative together throughout the region. So today we got a really great kind of program set up, and it's gonna now take us from where we've been doing a lot of that building and working with builders, and now we're ready to start shifting into what does that buyer market look like, and how do we get buyers that are coming from other areas that are maybe within our own community, how do we get them plugged into these new housing products that we're creating, get them to continue to fly off the shelf and keep moving, and then be able to keep telling us what we should be building next, and how are we going to just keep growing our population and growing the housing market here, all within Vigo County, the city of Terre Haute, and the greater West Central Indiana area. So I'd like to introduce to my right here some of our Thrive housing team that really is, they're the legs of this. They're on the ground every single day marching this forward. And Julie Hart here is our Director of Housing. Julie, would you like to say anything?
No, I know most of the faces, and just want to thank you for your cooperation and your engagement in building what we have, not only within our city, within our county, but regionally. It's fantastic, and we know that especially our lenders and our builders are your risk takers, and that's exciting, and we want to help lessen that risk, and I think that's what we're doing. And for the faces that we don't quite know yet, the lenders and the realtors, this is kind of the exciting next phase that we're really looking at that brings you to the buyers. And so we're really looking forward to meeting you and engaging with you.
Thank you, Julie. Next is Michelle Barrett. Michelle's our rural and urban growth strategist. So Michelle works on the back end of things, really gets into a lot of data. She's doing our contract management with our builders. She's ensuring that the home prices and the market values are aligning with what they need to in our market potential analysis. And she is also our muscle on the team as well. So if anybody gets out of line, Michelle's going to keep them in line. Michelle, you have anything you'd like to add? All right. Excellent. And next is Shelly Ammerman. Shelly's our public relations manager here at Thrive, and you're going to see her out and about. She's really the one out there really promoting everything that we're doing and that you're doing, and trying to get as much publicity and awareness to every single person in the community. So Shelly, anything you'd like to add?
Just thank you everybody for coming, and if the need ever arises where you want my help spreading the information among your peers and your community, please let me know.
Thank you. Thank you so much. A big hand here for our Thrive staff that's doing all the hard work. These ladies make me look good every single day, and I'm so grateful and appreciative. They're doing all the heavy lifting. So today, we welcome Heather Presley Cowan here from Club720 Solutions. Heather is a very familiar face. She's been with us on this journey ever since the beginning, and we could not do any of this without her and her leadership and her guidance. And her method that she has created is top-notch. It works, and this is the proof that it works. And you won't believe how many other communities are calling us all the time to say, hey, we see what you're doing. We want to replicate this. And generally I'm like, hey, that's great. I want to help you. I got to do a little more here first. We're going to get a little ahead of everybody else. But nonetheless, Heather is the brainchild behind this. And so she has another really great product that now is going to take us that next step to connecting buyers right into our pipeline, and really starting to work with lenders, with realtors, and even directly with builders to get these homes now in the market and in the hands of people who are going to live and work in our community. So without further ado, Heather.
Well, thank you, Ryan. It's so good to be back here. I see familiar faces myself. Some of you are on the steering committee that Thrive has put together to oversee this housing program, and others may have been here almost a couple of years ago, I guess, when I got to visit. What's exciting for me is I normally travel alone, but today I got to bring my Club 720 team, and so I just asked for each of you to just stand up. I'm not going to ask you to say anything. They're people who sit behind technology and love talking to people through technology. So Carrie, Alexandra, and Misty, they're our super coach, our super administrator, and accountability coach on Club 720 are here because we are a human digital platform, and we're excited about just being able to continue to work here in Vigo County and beyond with Thrive. Ryan, you said a lot of very kind things about me, but I will tell you that all that we are doing, if we didn't have this prototype for the state of Indiana, I'm not sure that we would have as much going on in terms of the production that we're seeing, because you've got such a highly capable team working here. You've got a lot of partners in this community. We're implementing this method in lots of different places, but this has been the prototype. I will say this is the model that we like to talk about. Our team says it's the kind of the gold standard for maybe platinum. So kudos to you for all you've done. So as we get started, I guess one question I have is how many have been involved in this production effort so far, from whatever realm that you sit, and I'll ask that in just a second. Okay, so maybe 25%? Nice. So from a leadership standpoint, production standpoint, whatever, that's a pretty good group of people. How many in the room are lenders or bankers? Awesome. Yeah, this is huge. How many are realtors? Another big group. Okay, and then builders? Okay. And then employers? Lots of people there. You might double that one, right? What did I miss? Government officials? I should have mentioned that first. So the cornerstone of the home method is that these are active and dynamic public-private partnerships. The idea behind a public-private partnership that I used to see when I worked for the state's second largest city for many years was a public-private partnership was a developer shows up and tells you unless you give them this much money, the deal can't be done. What we're pioneering here is really something that's very balanced and very much great for profitability for a builder, developer, a realtor, a banker, an employer. It should be designed to support the private sector, but you've got governments who are actually getting involved in helping to eliminate those barriers and doing just enough to make that happen. And so what's exciting is Ryan just shared a lot of production that's happening. That is because of these active and dynamic public-private partnerships. So as we get started, we're going to talk about market dynamics. So how many have heard the presentation on the market potential analysis results for Vigo County? Awesome. Some, not all. Not as big a percentage as I might have thought. So for those who do or do not know what the market potential is, how do you view the current housing market, and where do you see it going in the next 5 years? Anyone mind sharing your thoughts? Thank you. Big shortage still. Anyone agree with that? Do we still have a shortage? Ryan just shared we produced a lot of housing. Are you still seeing a big shortage? Yep, we're still seeing a big shortage. Anyone else? So because not everyone has heard the market potential analysis results, I was prepared to kind of share some of that. I want to see. We're going to talk a little bit about what we're here to talk about. I'm going to try to see if I can see this differently.
And the market potential, for those who are not familiar, that's located on our website under thrivewestcentral.com/housing. Just go to the resource library. Every single piece of that puzzle is there for you to check out. And we have such a great team that if you have questions, we'll have you come on in, or we'll go to you, and we'll sit there and have a one-on-one conversation with you and walk you through everything so you have a better understanding of what those numbers and what that data really tells as a story.
So this is the root, this market potential analysis, and I'll give you the highlights today, but this market potential analysis basically said, as Ryan said earlier, instead of looking backward to see what happened last year and the year before that and what's this trend? Well, the trend is in most communities that you're shrinking, and therefore many communities think they're dying. But when you start to look at market potential, which looks forward, you see a very different picture in a lot of Indiana communities. We have 92 counties in the state of Indiana, and I've yet to see one that wasn't poised for growth if you looked at it through the market potential lens. In short, the market potential in a community is typically the demand you don't see showing up at the open houses. You don't see it even it showing up in the long waiting lists of rentals because why? The product doesn't yet exist here. So every time that person commuting 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes to work every day here from somewhere else, every time their lease comes up, they're searching up other leasing opportunities here. They're looking for rentals. Every time they think, gosh, I'm ready to move from this house, I want to be closer to work, they're looking for houses here in Vigo County. That's the population we're talking about. You just don't see them because the product doesn't yet exist. Market potential says if you produce it, this is how many will come, here's what they can afford, whether they want to buy or rent. And Club 720 helps to take that market potential and turn it into demand. Because until you see those folks actually showing up, no one believes they exist, right? So we're going to talk about market potential, and we're going to talk about how Club 720, which is a platform that's designed to, let's see if I can make this move here. It's a platform that's designed to turn that market potential into actual demand. Let's see, there we go. Let's see if that does it. I keep telling it resume slideshow, but it's not. Oh, now it's moving. There we go. I got it. Thank you, Gabe. Okay, so when we think about the mission is we're looking at housing production and we're looking at housing absorption, and what we need to do is match those two things. If I tell you that if only you would sell chili sauce and hot sauce at the grocery store where you only sell ketchup and you got lots of ketchup buyers, but if you start selling chili sauce and hot sauce, people are gonna come out of the woodwork wanting to buy from your grocery store, you might be a little bit concerned about adding that level of investment in order to make that happen. Market potential says, here's who would come if you built it. The problem becomes when we can't see those people and we don't understand the strategies we're going to need to make that next step, we need to kind of put those two pieces together, and that's what Club 720 is designed to do. And the way that we do that is we use key strategies to go find those folks. Now, I'm going to show you the market potential analysis, but I'll tell you pretty much across the board, up to somewhere around 20% of market potential, and anywhere you look in Indiana, their buyers are coming from outside of the state of Indiana. So you definitely aren't seeing those. So we use things like targeted advertising. We engage with the folks that are here in this room. We use community events and workshops and earned media efforts. Club 720, though, is a fintech platform. It is a mobile app that you can put onto your phone. You can download it from Google Play or the App Store. You can find it online at club720.org. But it's impossible to do the work that we're doing here in Vigo County without Thrive. Thrive is the one driving the workshops. They're the ones out having these conversations. And so all we're here to do is to support what Thrive's already doing. So let's look at these market potential results. So when I first got involved, sorry about the resolution here, this is what I got to see about this region right away, was this regional analysis was done that said, here are the housing units that need to be produced in all of the counties within Thrive's region. And look at Vigo, poised to take roughly half of that market potential. And the number of units that need to be produced every year in the regional analysis showed somewhere in the 351 to 439 new rentals every single year. Ryan, how many units have we produced in the last year or two?
Just in the last 15 months or so for Vigo County, we're at 379 under contract for what we're doing. And then if we look at partners that aren't engaged necessarily in this, I think we're up somewhere near 700 units that are being built. So we are well on pace.
Do you know that in most rooms where I ask that number, we don't have it, right? We know housing's a problem, but we haven't started measuring it. So the fact that you're measuring it is huge, but this is, when you look at, it's 20 to 25% of what they say the whole universe is. So this is a very conservative estimate of how many units need to be built. And as Ryan said, you're well on your way with all of that. Now, multifamily, single-family townhomes, and the single-family detached are all home buyers. So when you add up the 31 and the 63 and the 166, so what, 220, 230, 260, 260 or so on the low end are the home buyer units that need to be developed, in addition to that 351 minimum for multifamily rental. So lots of housing production needed to happen. But what's interesting and why I like to look at it from this perspective is Thrive's working with all of these communities throughout the region, and not every one of these who has market potential has decided that they want housing. In fact, I think there's one that just doesn't want to do it. So what happens with that potential, right? Right, right, okay, fine, we'll take it, right? So the ones that are building are going to absorb that, likely, most likely, because this is housing's a regional topic. So the great thing is, a county can decide, hey, I'm not going to do anything, and the other counties can pick up the slack because we want to grow. Feel free to ask any questions that you have along the way. So what does that look like in terms of annual absorption? Looks like we need between 611 to 807 conservatively new housing units throughout Vigo County every single year to keep up with our market potential. Yes?
So, question, the last slide to May 2019, how much of those numbers have changed?
So this is a 5-year analysis, and it projects out that 5 years. So yeah, when you look at
2020 was a great year, and as Ryan said, it's just off, and now obviously it's not that fast. So how can we, gauge our numbers and what we need to do by something that happened in 2020?
Well, Vigo actually took that next step that we recommend everyone do. And Vigo's analysis was completed, was it 2022?
It's in 2023,
Three.
and let's see, we engaged in April, and I think it was completed in the end of June.
Okay, so
So-
2023, these numbers are from 2023.
So we took it from a regional level down to a county level of what does the specific county now look at? What does Vigo County look like on that regional level? And how much is their true market potential, rather than just equally kind of splitting it up by population on a regional level? So Heather, do you have those numbers in here? Or?
Yeah, I do. I just took some highlights, but the whole picture is on the Thrive West Central website. But as Ryan said, that original breakdown, if you want to know where those percentages came from, go back there for a second, just for a second. That 9%, 16%, what percentage each county would take of the total came from population. If you made up 9% of the, if Clay makes up 9% of the region, it gets 9% of the market potential. So those are very inexact numbers. What Vigo did was said, okay, well, tell us really what we could do if we got to work. And what we learned was 7,515 households of all incomes have potential to move. Now that's the whole universe of people. And this is scientific. This is not just a guess. This is looking at IRS data. It's looking at Esri data. There's lots of data and analysis from a firm called Zimmerman Voc Associates that did both of these and said, look, we can see 7,500 people every year looking to live here. Now, what we know is we're not going to capture 100% of that. So we want to be very conservative in our numbers as we get to start building and let demand take hold, right? So where do these folks live now might be a question that comes to mind. Now this is a very high number. There are a lot of people inside of Vigo County who need to move up or move down, more than likely. This is a young family that's growing that wants a little bigger home. It could be an empty nester, a retiree who wants to downsize. But 71% is roughly, I'm gonna say 10 to 20% higher than most of the counties that I see. So you have a lot of people here. What does that tell us about when you know the value of the stock that's here today? Does anyone know what the median value of the stock that's on the street today would be in Vigo County? It's that median sale price. Any realtors?
275. 275.
275. Yeah? What else? Any other numbers?
About 168.
168 to 275, depending on where we're talking. No, just 168 period. You can buy a house for $168,000 in this place. I'll tell you, a team, coming into the downtown in Terre Haute, the team's like, this is great, this place is awesome. $168,000, how much would a mortgage payment on a $168,000 house cost? Anyone? Bet I could bring it up on my Club720 app. Let's say $168,000, I'm gonna pay $800 a month. Is that fair? Lower? $900 a month. All right, let's go $900 a month, right, interest rates. Okay. When you look at what affordability looks like, you're gonna see some different numbers as we go through this. If 71% of the market potential is coming from Vigo County, what's gonna happen if these folks are able to move around into other units that get created? Those $168,000 houses are going to become available for that next layer. So you have extremely affordable housing sitting on the street. The question is, how do we unlock that? Because there is a need for housing that's affordable. How many people live in affordable housing? Thank you, Julie. Right. I live in affordable housing. Everyone else's housing burden? No, I ask that as a joke because everybody's like, no, I don't live in affordable housing. We all live in housing that's affordable to us, right? Or else we'd be moving somewhere else. But a lot of times when we talk about housing and affordable housing, we think of low-income people. And in this case, I can own a home here for $168,000 and pay $900 a month in rent. That is extremely affordable housing. So when we think about how these things flow out, 71% live here in Vigo County, want to move around. Another 7% come from surrounding counties. 2% are coming from Marion, and there's that number. 20% are coming from the balance of the United States. So we know how many, 7,515 households every year looking around. We now know where they're coming from. The next question we might ask is, who are these people? And as you can see here, 78% are millennials. What do we know about millennials? Decent incomes, college debt. So again, when we think about housing being affordable, it's a different demographic than in the past when we think about our housing problems. We have extremely affordable housing sitting on the streets, and we have a large number of millennials who want to come and live here, and it's usually the flip opposite of what exists here now in terms of the makeup of the community. So this analysis showed 3,420 to 4,570 new housing units need to be built over the next 5 years. Reactions? Just in Vigo County alone. Is this shock, disbelief? Shock and disbelief? That's usually the case. That's a lot, isn't it? There's a lot of people we're not seeing show up at those open houses that aren't joining the waiting lists. Why? We haven't yet produced the product they want to buy. So, next question might be, well, what product do they want to buy? And the answer is about 46% rentals and the other 54% in a mix of different types of home ownership. So if you break down those units into the tenure types, we need 46% rentals and 54% home buyer units, but we need to start adding those densities because this is a group of people, millennials by and large, are looking for a different type of product than is sitting out there today. So how much can they afford? So in the for sale side, today, the range in the market potential analysis showed all the way from 50,000 up to 899. We heard we have 168,000 as that median. And then for condos and townhomes, the 108 to 500. Where the market potential is today, they can afford 120 to 290,000 for workforce housing in that detached realm. Your market rate should go from 230 to 365,000 for new construction if you want to target the buyers who are looking to buy here. And then for condos and townhomes, 165 to 315. Reactions? More shock and disbelief? That's pretty high prices considering 168,000 is what's sitting on the street today. This says to me that the buyers who want to live here can afford more than the buyers who may live here today. But then we go back to that 71% are already living here, and we realize it's somebody that's leaving a house and has a little bit of equity, so they're looking to move up, or they're looking to downsize, but they're bringing some money to the table with them. So even with the higher prices, you've got buyers who are willing to pay more. Rents, similar story. So they showed all the outliers here. So everything from rents that are $575 to $25, $45. What's the median rent on the street? Anyone know that? $1,000? $800 or $900, similar in terms of price to own a home. Where your market potential rents are for new units that you would be bringing online, $650 to $1,325 for workforce housing, which is the more affordable of the two types of housing listed. And then for your market rate, your rent should be somewhere in that $950 to $1,750 range. So if you're a developer and you want to either build new construction for sale or for rent, you're actually working with a lot better numbers than what's on the street today. Bankers in the room? Are there banks actually? Okay. So if today the average rent for a unit is $800 or $900 per month, but we're looking to build units that are in the even $1,200 to $1,500 a month range, we're going to have a problem with underwriting. And that's where governments get involved. Because if that buyer or that renter is willing to pay $1,500 a month for rent, and the developer's willing to build it and can do that for $1,500 a month, but they can't get the financing to get that done, you need a partner like Thrive who can come in and figure out how to equalize that problem. Does that make sense? So these are the data points that we've been working on, and what it shakes out to be, the steering committee for Vigo County chose certain areas to look at. And so the market potential analysis then spit out answers as to what the potential is for each one of those areas and how many units of different types. So again, you have the rentals, the condos, townhomes, and single family for each of those, for those areas.
And I can explain these areas a little bit. So Meds and Eds corridor, that's ISU up to about Union Hospital. That big target area going over to about 13th and coming up to 41. Riverfront downtown, explanatory there. East side, anything kind of past, out past Fruit Ridge and beyond out in there. South, kind of Riley, the Riley area. And then just south, kind of down south of South Menards and Menards closer to the industrial park in that area there. Those were the target areas that we were looking at opportunities to go and develop more housing.
So nothing on the north end at all? Like, was that not possible?
The Meds and Eds extends up through that corridor on the north side. So it extends well past Union Hospital up into that area.
Okay, I'm talking north.
Like way north.
North of like Menards. North of, yes.
So in our study area, we went up to the Hawthorne area up in there. Hawthorne Avenue, I think is right, up into there. So north of Menards, up into that area past Little Bear, and then kind of coming back down. And it doesn't mean that development won't occur outside of these areas, because it most certainly has and will. It just looked at these were the target areas for some of the first initial developments in the housing sectors here with the study. You're welcome.
Awesome. So this market potential exists. Most communities, when they get this information, do what? They say, that's great, wow, what do we even do, as Ryan said. And so most take this, put it on their website and let everyone see it and hope that developers will come and say, hey, I'll start building now. But as I mentioned, the first barrier they're gonna walk into is there's no way to finance a deal that doesn't have the comparables for them to be able to build that. If all we have on the street are $168,000 houses, how are we ever gonna build a $250,000, $350,000 house with those comps? And so the work begins, and these areas start to look like, okay, are there areas within our community where we have enough land where we could start to create our own comps? The types of housing to be built are also changing. You saw the densities. Mostly in Indiana, you're gonna see a traditional single-family detached house. But what does this kind of house introduce? Well, these are duplexes and fourplexes, but they look like a normal house that sits on the street. So the idea of having patterns that builders can use to say, look, we need to add density. Why? Because that's what the market potential wants. We want them to show up, but they're not gonna show up if we keep building what we've already been building. And they're not looking at the existing stock. So how do we start to look at helping builders to turn the corner? And I think, Ryan, you've got some great stories around how that's been happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're seeing folks kind of come into our office and say, hey, I've had this crazy idea of developing, this style of product or house that really we've seen almost no development here in the past for. So really great townhouses, really great condo models, even some of these duplex, triplex and things going into historic areas or even older neighborhoods that blend right in to what that community looks like, what that street looks like. You never even know. And so it's fantastic to see these new products coming to our community that we just really haven't seen or seen on a very small scale.
So if I can build 2, 3, or even 4 units in the same place that I was going to build one, we start to figure out a solution to making housing more affordable. Density becomes part of the solution without ever having to put an extra penny in. But why would a public-private partnership be important if we're talking about that kind of density in most communities? Anyone ever tried to pull a permit on a fourplex in Vigo County? Zoning. So having the community leaders at the table, the government leaders there, understanding that, okay, goodness, we've got market potential coming in that's expecting something different than that's here now. One of the easiest things we can do is start to allow things that we're currently maybe disallowing. And zoning becomes that first layer of the cake, so to speak. So we need a different product. Again, these are called apartment buildings, but these could just as easily be condos. But the idea is we're gonna start to produce a different product. And I guess, Ryan, one question I would have is, are you seeing those units move?
A lot of them are still in the construction phase. So we haven't really got to that it's on the market yet with a lot of those new ones. So I haven't seen those new products move yet because they're still in development.
Under construction. So as we look at that demand that we're saying how many units need to be produced per year, those are ones that need to be completed and leased. Every year that we're producing that we didn't actually have one ready becomes essentially pent-up demand. So it'll be interesting to see how long the waiting list would be for that. So taking public-private partnerships to the next level becomes the next thing we need to do. We need to work with the builders to start building, and we have builders in the room. Are any of you working in the existing programs? Any of the builders? Yes, awesome. So typically, when you talk to builders about programs like what we're talking about, you're thinking, okay, builders working with governments means I'm building only low-income housing. But what you just heard me say was we actually need to add housing that's market rate if we're gonna open up the more affordable units that are on the street, right? Now, assuming that we don't have, I was just down in Madison, Indiana, their affordable units are being snapped up by corporate investors who are turning the homes into Airbnbs. Anyone seeing that? That's a potential, it's a possibility. So are we gonna have to, as You know, part of the, I mean, that's great, right? It's a home that gets sold, but that's a $168,000 home that's no longer available to a local resident who wants to move in it. But in the case of Madison, it's a big issue for them because there's so many of them, but it's actually, their values have skyrocketed to the point now they need to be looking at how do we create more affordable options. So it's a balance that we're going to be striking, and that's why partnering with realtors and banks and lenders and builders, employers, becomes really important, because as we move forward, units start to come available, buyers start to show up, we need partners who are going to help us to serve them. So I told you that 87% of the buyers in this picture are millennials. And as you'll see here, 83% of them are working on their credit. Why? Typically because of student loan debt, okay? But all groups listed here are working on credit in some way, form, or fashion. And I can tell you with experience from people who come onto our platform, which are primarily millennials and baby boomers, empty nesters and retirees, that many people who come onto the platform don't know where to begin when they're in that millennial category. They just don't know what to do. And so the idea of having a platform where we can start to talk about these programs, we can talk about the housing becoming available, but a lot of people are going to think that's not for me. It's not affordable, right? But what we know is as those units that get purchased, we have partners in the community who know where to find the housing that's more affordable. And on the other side of that, they may need to know that they actually can purchase that amount. We don't know. And so what we've done is to start to build a toolkit for home buyers. And it starts with a platform called Club720. 720 is about the credit score. And the idea of having a club says, no judgment. Come onto the platform and just see what's possible. And what we promise you is we are going to help you accomplish your goal. Now, in this case, we're going to buy a home. And in Vigo County, the maximum income of the borrower for the Hoosier Homes program, which provides, I'll tell you about it in just a moment, it's our signature program, is up to $107,100 on the borrower alone. Hoosier Homes has been authorized for all of Vigo County and actually throughout the region by Thrive West Central. The important thing here is as buyers start to see these housing opportunities come about, whether it's the existing stock or it's new stock that's being built, we have a program that's designed to help that 87% typically that have never owned a home before or own a home but can't come up with that down payment to actually access up to 5% in down payment assistance. Club720 will instantly pre-qualify them, meaning if your credit score is below 640, which is the minimum credit score for the program, you'll be able to access an accountability coach, lots of on-demand education and trainings. And as you see, we've got real people. There are real people behind the platform, but there's a lot of on-demand information and education. There's lots of workshops that go on. And the idea is we're never going to say no to you. For our partners, the great thing is we want as many banks and lenders as possible to sign up to participate in the program. So this wasn't just authorized for the region, it's actually a tool that engages banks and lenders to offer it. Now let's say you offer your own down payment assistance program and it's even better than Hoosier Homes. Great. Sign up for Hoosier Homes so you have that tool in your toolkit. It's free. It's signing a correspondent lender agreement with Land Home Financial Services, our master servicer, but the goal is that we would want to find those buyers and help them find you. So I'm going to pause there for a second because that was a lot of information, but the Hoosier Homes program, the call to action here is if you're a bank or a lender, we'd like to see you join the program.
I have a question on that.
Yeah.
So the 5% down payment closing cost assistance, is that at some point, like, does it have to be prepaid? Is it forgivable?
Good question. It is forgiven over a 7-year period. 1/84th per full month that buyer lives in the home is forgiven.
Any recapture tax if they don't live there for the full 7 years?
So then the 1/84th that gets forgiven, let's say they move after 4 years, the other 3 years, that pro rata share would be repaid. No taxes, but just of the down payment itself.
No interest?
No. So minimum 640 credit score, up to 107.1 in terms of the annual income on the borrower, and they can get instantly pre-qualified through Club 720. So banks and lenders who offer this, we offer you a spot on the Club 720 platform so that you can offer it to your borrowers, so that you can offer it out in the community. If you do a workshop with Thrive, for instance, yes.
I was going to say, can you clarify too for the audience that the $107,100, that's just for Vigo County?
Yes.
And as we continue to increase our per capita income, that number will also go up.
Continue.
So we have, we're working with other communities. One community in the north who just came into our program is Montgomery County, which is where Crawfordsville is. Their number is 111,000.
Yeah. Something
and then
like that.
As you look at other communities around the state, they have much higher numbers because they have higher per capita incomes on that. So at the end of the day, that's where we're at today. Our goal is to continue to inch that number higher and higher. So.
Yes,
Sorry,
great point. No,
I didn't mean to interrupt.
it reminded me of two other things. So in January, we'll be rolling out another version of this program called the Club 720 Down Payment Assistance Network that will have a program for any income of buyers for down payment assistance, as well as for builders and realtors who work with builders. We have a way of partnering Hoosier Homes with a single close construction loan product for buyers. Yes?
Is this down payment assistance, would it be combinable or stackable with other?
Yes. And that's one thing we really love about it. The lien position can change. So if we had Federal Home Loan Bank dollars, or we also have match savings accounts on the platform. So let's say a buyer comes on and they're not ready today. They're thinking they're going to buy in the next 6 months to a year. We have a 3-to-1 match program for qualified buyers that would work with that as well. So lots of different tools that you can offer your buyers. Other questions?
Is that household income or is it just whoever the borrower is?
Borrower, yep. Okay, so if you are, I'm going to see if this works, if I can switch over here, and if I can't, what we're going to do is actually, we're going to, these three ladies are going to set up over in the room across the hall, so if you have to leave early, please, we'll follow you if you want to join. We can actually walk you through it, but you can go to www.club720.org/partners. Let me see if I can share this part of my screen. And you can do it on your phone as well. You're going to, okay, Gabe, I apologize. Thank you. You're brilliant. Sheesh. Gosh. Okay, so when you go to club720.org/partners, you're going to see our program. And what we want you to do is just click Get Started for free. And what we'll do is you'll get access to the platform, which is some software that's a CRM. Most importantly, you'll get a connect code. It's a 4-digit code that when let's say you have clients that you want to have access to your program. So first we'll get you signed up with Hoosier Homes, and then we'll get you your connect code. That connect code will give you some flyers, some marketing materials with a QR code on it. You can just share that with your clients and they get instantly pre-qualified for the Hoosier Homes program, and then those will get sent to you to go ahead and process to work with them. So the idea is that whether they're ready or not, we'll work with them, but they'll stay in your CRM as we do that. So getting signed up, when you register, We'll take that information, we'll take your email address, and we'll actually introduce you to Land Home Financial Services, who will then get you started with your correspondent lender agreement. Okay?
I think the goal today is really to get every single person to sign up on the free membership. Let's get you in there, let's get you registered, let's get you started. And then we can work one-on-one with you to kind of expand that into whatever direction you'd like to go. But at the end of the day, let's do the bare minimum threshold. Let's get you just on there and signed up so we know you're interested. And then we can start to build off of that. And if you're a lender and you want to offer the Hoosier Homes program as one of your programs, then we'll start to bring in then a team of people to work with all your mortgage lenders at your institution and go from there. If you're a builder and a realtor, we can work with you in different capacities as well.
Awesome. Yes.
So the master servicer is going to buy this,
Yes.
correct?
And this program is authorized by local governments, but it's under Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's platform. And yes, the master servicer then will sell to Fannie and Freddie.
So the Fannie Freddie, though, that income limit looks like it's a little bit lower, it's got to be 8%, is that correct?
No, it actually, because this has been authorized, it is a special thing governments can do.
Okay, so they'll go up to the 140%.
Yep.
On the,
And on all the borrowers.
And I'll add to that's special and unique. That 140% is because Thrive now has that master service agreement in with our partner here at the state. And so all other communities who aren't signed up, they get 100%. Since we are an authorized partner, our communities that are working with us, we go up to 140%. So it really adds another competitive edge for us when we're trying to think of population attraction and retention, that we have even a better tool in our toolbox to offer.
Yes.
so then, I get my package all put together, I got my borrower, got all their W-2s, everything's put together. We underwrite it,
Yep.
and then we send it to the master servicer for their stamp to say,
Yep.
close it.
That's right. As soon as so if you go in, sign up for the platform, we will take your email address and introduce you to Land Home. They will get you your program, your correspondent, your program lender agreement. They are then going to train you on how to do all of that with them. And then we'll work with you and keep you up to speed on all the programs going on here. But yes, all your clients just come to you, you do it like normal. I'm told it is a very easy process.
I guess probably a lot like IHCDA.
It's easier than IHCDA, yeah. And it's not a payback loan. Yeah.
So I noticed on your premium plan that it says it must be approved as a correspondent lender. Is this not for agents as well, or?
Real estate?
Yes.
Well, that's the next on the list. So we'll keep that going. Okay, are we ready to move on from lenders? Okay. So now, thank you. We're going to talk about builders and realtors. Builders and realtors fall under the same category for us. You're going to sign up as a realtor on the platform. You'll go to club720.org/realtors, and I will show that in just a moment. But the way that this program works, I'll just talk about this. So for a builder, up to 5% in down payment assistance through Hoosier Homes. You get instant pre-qualification for your buyers. You get our useful CRM that I shared. But the most important thing I think that we have right now, is a single close construction loan. Anyone familiar with single close construction loans? Okay, good. Anyone want to describe it? So the way this works is just like any buyer comes and wants to buy a home that exists, and they pay their 5% and they go to closing. In this case, they find their builder, and they pick their lot and they pick their home they want to build, and they immediately close on their construction loan, and that becomes their mortgage. And so builders who want to participate in this program can sign up under the realtors area, and I'm going to walk through realtors in just a second. But the idea here is if you're a realtor that works with this program or works with builders, this is a wonderful tool to help you to get to closing and for your buyers to be able to access those tools right away and get started today. Ryan might have a few stories about having to do the two-step process. So, realtor empowerment is key for Club 720. As we've been talking about, it's the ultimate public-private partnership builder because what we're looking to do is to make sure that we're empowering the markets, not necessarily asking government to step in where government wouldn't normally be, right? These are real problems that are in the market that we're working to solve. So Realtor Empowerment Program is the same way, and I'm actually going to see if this works and show a little video for you.
Welcome to the Club 720 Realtor Empowerment Program. We're thrilled to have you join our community. This guide will walk you through the onboarding process, helping you leverage the tools available on the Club 720 platform to connect with clients. To get started, visit the Club 720 partner page and click on Get Started for Free. Register your account by filling in your details and verify your email to activate your account. This is your first step towards empowerment. Once logged in, create your profile by adding your contact information and a professional photo. This ensures potential clients can verify your credentials and reach you easily. Remember to save your profile after updating. Once logged in, navigate to Share and Connect and get your personalized Connect code. This code allows clients to find you on the Club 720 app and even get pre-qualified instantly for our programs. Share your app with clients using the Copy and Share App feature, which includes a pre-written message and your Connect code. Your happy clients can then share the app and your Connect code with others. Congratulations on completing the onboarding process. As a member, you'll enjoy easy client connections, comprehensive CRM tools, and freemium features to manage relationships. Boost your brand by engaging directly with clients through the app. You can even invite your favorite lenders to join your team. When you're ready, send us a high-resolution logo to support@club720.org and we'll send you a customized co-branded marketing flyer. Use the Share and Connect feature in the CRM and the QR code on your customized flyer to share the app with clients to give them access to valuable tools and resources.
The program is free, offering key features at no cost. Support is available if needed, with tutorials and guides on the platform. Invite other realtors to join by sharing the Club 720 partner page link, expanding your network.
The Club 720 Realtor Empowerment Program equips you with essential tools and connections to grow your business in a competitive market. We're excited to have you on board and look forward to your success. Thank you for joining us.
So the program is designed to engage realtors in helping the buyers that come onto our platform. Oftentimes, a buyer will come onto the platform, get instantly pre-qualified, and maybe ask, what are my next steps? In this region, we have a partner. And so for realtors who want to sign up and offer access to Club 720 and the instant pre-qualification, let's say you're delivering a workshop somewhere, we'll provide you with a QR code and a sheet with your Connect code on it. They will register, enter your Connect code, and all of those clients go into your CRM, but most importantly, they instantly get pre-qualified for Hoosier Homes right then and there, based on the information they enter. In the event that they actually decide to move forward, they're in your CRM, we'll introduce you to the lenders that are on our platform, and as the video said, you can invite other lenders to join the Hoosier Homes program that you like to work with and have them also get involved in the platform. And in that case, you're gonna see your client, your client in common, we'll say, that will all be under one picture that you can all see and communicate with one another. On the platform, you're actually able to send in-app text notifications, you can send emails, you can send actual SMS texts, and the idea is that we are all communicating under one big picture, and so we see realtors as being mission critical to making this program successful. When you go to club720.org/realtors, you'll see the same thing, and you can click Get Started for free. And when you go to that registration page, just choose realtors and you're in.
In October as a lender.
Okay.
How do I ensure that they've got my information?
You are, oh, good. How do buyers know you on the platform? Well, I was talking about this with Ryan, and we'll chat about it. Just follow up with Ryan, and we can work with you to get you referrals from clients that are here in your region. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're still kind of, this is cutting edge and news, and so some of those great questions when we really think about developing those relationships with each individual partner in here, and then how are we tracking it, and how are we ensuring that, your referral is going to go to you and they're going to see you on there. We're going to work and develop that very specific tool out on this software, really in the next couple weeks. So we're start working on that. So more to come here soon.
Yeah. Awesome. Any questions about the Realtor Empowerment Program? So, thoughts, concerns, questions? What didn't I tell you that you need to know? So let me prompt you with a couple of questions. How would having access to a tool like Club720 that connects you, directly with partners, how would that help you in your business? Is it helpful, useful? Did anyone register? Awesome. Why would you register? What do you think would make it useful to you?
Just connecting with
More people, more buyers. And when buyers come on, if they're coming from California, for instance, they're going to want someone local, and they don't know where to go, right? So thank you very much for doing that. What about Hoosier Homes? Do you think it'll be helpful and useful? Yes? Nice. Okay. Anyone thinking you're going to sign up to offer Hoosier Homes if you're a lender? Awesome, awesome, awesome.
So Heather, let me ask you a question. Maybe this will kind of help prompt a little bit of discussion and dialogue here. So when we first did a press release, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, give or take, about Club720 kind of coming out on the market, your team on the behind the scenes that were tracking the data, they saw a nice little flurry of just people all around our community and region sign up on the app. And they got put right into the program. And all these people were like, hey, I'm interested. I want to buy a house. I want to rent something. I want to make a change. So all these folks came on. We didn't even know that they existed. They saw the information and they just went and did it. So we have this nice little pool of folks on here. What do we do with those folks? Because we don't have a code. Nobody has a referral code yet. We're building this system a little bit here, but we got all these people on the market that maybe they bought right away, maybe they rented right away, but maybe they're 6 months, a year from now, they're going to make that decision. So what do we do with the folks who aren't connected to anybody specifically right now?
So we are constantly communicating. Our users are very communicative. They talk with our coaches constantly in the process. And like I said, there's lots of questions. Well, one of the things that we do on a regular monthly basis is to send out a newsletter to our users. We also can send out specific email packages. So the thought is, as we roll this out, let's say, everyone that's got their org code set up by, let's say by Monday, we can do an email push that says, here are some partners on our platform that you need to check out. So those are the kinds of things we'll be developing with Thrive as our strategic partner in establishing this pilot. But what else? What else would you like us to do? I think that's what this is all about, is creating a dialogue about how do we really make this work for you.
Like sessions like this where we could bring in potential home buyers or potential renters and have like a informal session for them.
You guys are already doing a little of this, aren't you?
So we've already done that twice. What we've seen, variety of things. It's wintertime too. Might be cold weather, but we saw just a little bit of engagement on that. So the first session we offered just had less than a handful, and then the second session a little bit more than a handful kind of showed up, but it was small numbers. And I think mostly what we're seeing is folks, if you want to bring them and you want them to engage, we're more than happy to do that. We love it. We like interaction. We love being able to get up and present and work one-on-one with people and explain things. But what we think is, what we're seeing is a lot of people, they're so tech savvy anymore. They just go and do it. So I think it's so important for folks to get on the platform, get registered, let us, start engaging and learning. So as those folks are coming on, you're showing up, within that network, and the coaches can say, hey, there's lenders, there's realtors, there's builders, there's products in this market we can connect you to. Because they're coming on asking the question, hey, what do I got to do to get to this? I want to move up, down, sideways, wherever. I want to move up in the market or down in the market. What do I do next? How do I get the down payment assistance? How do I go to the Hoosier Homes program? How do I do this? Because I'm ready to move. And what we're finding is we got to connect them to that network of folks. And that's really what brings this ecosystem together, I think, in this partnership here, is we're starting to create all of those connection points here in through a system that we're all kind of working together in. And I don't know if I misspoke on that, but that's how I see this visioning out over the next several years. How do we create a pipeline of buyers? My goal is 500 people. It's 500. I think Heather kind of maybe was like, ooh, that's a lofty goal. But it's 500 people. It's 500 people. If we're going to be building thousands of units over the next 5 years, 500 people isn't that much. We don't need to capture everybody. We don't need 5,000, 10,000 would be great. But if I have 500 new people, faces, that are willing to work with our lenders, our realtors, and our builders to go right into products, and we already know the price points, we know what they're looking for, and we're able to help them get them there to the point where they're ready to go and pull the trigger, I mean, why wouldn't you want that?
I've been on the site, so I'm somewhat familiar with it, but it's been a minute. Is there anything out there, I mean, we talked about home buyers that may be 6 months to a year out from buying. I think of projects like Intech that obviously isn't here yet, and so you've got an influx of people that are going to probably be looking a little further out to come here. Is there anything for our builders that have projects that aren't expected to be done maybe for, 2 years out? So people can see, like from an inventory standpoint, what's going to be out there and the price points that they're going to be at, because we know these projects are on the horizon. I would want to know that as a buyer if I'm looking to relocate to this market, like what's going to be out there in 12 to 24 months, not necessarily what's out there right now.
I love that. I would say we have another prototype in Indiana that does have a pipeline of actual catalyst sites. We are starting catalyst sites right now, and I would say that's exactly what will happen here is what basically you're listing out all the sites and when they're coming, and you actually have the designs of what those will look like. I always know that Thrive is going to way over exceed, so I don't even want to detail it too much, but as catalyst sites come on, I think that's a really good place. Maybe, Ryan, you want to think about featuring builders that are partnered.
Yeah, it's been a topic of conversation many, many times over, is how do we connect the builds right to that population of people who are looking, and then the ecosystem that are showing and integrating them into there. So how do the lenders know? How do the realtors know? How does everybody in this ecosystem know what we're doing, what's available, what the amenities are at this resource versus another one, what the price points are, square footage, what is it? What's that full picture? Because we're in the business of facilitating connections and then also growing our regional population, our per capita income, and our quality of life. That's what Thrive does. We're that partner. We're working with everybody. And it couldn't be possible without our government partners. I mean, they're really the ones bankrolling and backing this, and they've trusted us to do it. But then we go through that private sector lens. We can't just do it with government partners. We have to have the private sector here. So we're that intermediate facilitator, and that's really, I think, as we see this continue to grow and blossom, we'll be able to highlight those things. And I think it lends another opportunity for us to go and connect, and again, this is kind of in the works, directly with employers, especially those like the Intechs or the employers that are always looking and hiring. But how do we let them know all these things exist? We want your people to stay here. We don't want you to come work here and then, maybe live up in Indy or anything along those lines. We want you to be here in this community. We want you to be a part of it. We love it. There's a reason we all live here. I mean, we like it. If not, we'd move. So how do we get the other people, to know what are all the great things that we have going on here? And then here is the housing that you want, that you're accustomed to in Indianapolis or Fort Wayne or Evansville or another part of the country. Hey, we have those builds going on right here. And you know what? You're ready to move here in 6 months or a year. Guess what? We got 27 of them coming up. Take your pick. So that's the vision, and that's what we'll start seeing kind of get built out.
So oh, yes.
So far, I've not been on the site, so I'm not familiar with it. But you mentioned a lot of people signed up when the press release was rolled out, and this is a huge source of, I use an old sales term, leads. And so far, what I've heard is a description of how a potential buyer, shopper, can get connected to a realtor, but can that work the other way? And I can see where maybe sensitivity and privacy of information might be a concern.
So so a buyer can connect with a realtor that's come on the platform. Realtors that get that connect code can use a QR, we'll give them a flyer with a QR code on it. And if, let's say you're at a workshop and the buyers that are there use that QR code to bring up the app, enter then in your 4-digit code, that goes into their CRM. They do not get to see the full package of information that lenders see, but they see it's the same data file, it's all the same notes that you would be communicating with the lender on, yeah.
So potential buyer or the shopper has to make the first contact?
Yeah, they can make the first contact. Now, a realtor can go into their CRM and send out a message to their prospective buyers and say, hey, go ahead and get instantly pre-qualified for Hoosier Homes and put in my code. So there's automatically in the system a place where they can go and invite buyers to come on. Yeah. To this conversation, when I think about employers, because it could be an employer that uses a QR code and wants to bring people on, we do have a way for employers with Hoosier Homes to put up another 2.5% to that, and it's a third position equity loan. So the employer can put up 2.5%. And then what the buyer signs on for is wherever you're working, it doesn't matter. But let's say I'm trying to attract or retain folks living in the county. I'm giving you 2.5%, and what I'm going to get is 20% of your equity turn when you move. And so we can engage employers through programs like that really give incentives to buyers and really juice up that employer's ability to attract and retain. So that's what, when Ryan talks about, there's a lot in practice. There are things that we can go and do today, but the beauty of this is we're building this around what Vigo County needs. And that means we have to hear from you. We need your partnership to say, make this better, change that. These are the barriers that our buyers are seeing or our renters are seeing, help us out. And that's what we're here to do, is to sort of go back and figure that out. The last thing I'll also say is maybe we do some workshops, some virtual workshops. We invite those who've signed up to be on the platform, lenders and realtors and builders. And we let you showcase your products, and we do a lot of digital. So we're going to go out and hit all of the folks that have come on the platform looking for housing in this region and beyond, and we invite them to come learn about the housing opportunities in Terre Haute or in Vigo County or in whatever areas we're going to focus. Well, great. Well, so we've talked a lot about you've answered a lot of my questions. Are there any outstanding questions that you have? Yes.
So when you go to sign up, it says a program manager. So if it's a financial institution, just one person? No. Actually, every LO can be a program manager. We call it program managers because typically we're going to treat you as our lead partner in talking about Hoosier Homes. So we want you extensively trained, so it's a loan officer. What else? Okay, I always like to ask, what excites you, what scares you about anything we've talked about?